Hello, Facebook friends, YouTube friends, and friends all over the place. Happy Friday to you. I am so excited. Today, I am going to have a chance to share a little bit more with you about our Un-Breakable 2024 conference that's coming up. And I am wanting to just ask you a quick question. What are you doing today, like right now, in this moment, to make yourself become unbreakable? Well, that's what our Un-Breakable Conference 2024 is going to be all about. How do we become those unbreakable women who at our core are exactly who we are supposed to be? And we can just get through life situations being stronger and stronger as opposed to being broken down. Well, today I have the absolute privilege and the honor of sharing with you one of my amazing speakers. Her name is April Wallen. She is currently Mrs. Austin United World Pageant. So she has got this huge mantle of empowering women all over the place. And you're going to hear a little bit about her story, not all of her story, because we're going to save some of the good stuff for the conference because we want you there with us to experience all that Un-Breakable 2024 has to offer. But for now, I'm going to bring Miss April on, and we are going to chat with you about what to expect and a little bit about her background, and of course, some more about what to expect at Un-Breakable 2024. So let's say hello, Miss April. It's so good to have you on today.
Thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me.
Oh my goodness. You know, April and I have been friends through this really awesome, empowering women's group called Boss Babes Networking. And not that long ago, I got to hear the rest of the story. You guys know that, right? Like the rest of the story. And I was so inspired just to know April and to know a little bit about what she's been through in life and how she's really used that to empower women everywhere. But April, I would love for you to just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what it means to be Mrs. Austin United World Pageant, and how are you using your story to just spread joy and empower others?
Absolutely. Well, my name's April Wallen, and I am the Mrs. Austin United World right now. We'll compete for Mrs. Texas next year. And part of my role as a pageant title holder is to empower other women specifically. And I do that in a variety of ways. But I also have used my experience. I was diagnosed, I had a brain tumor when I was a teenager that I'd actually been born with. And that whole series of events that I will get more into led me to this platform where I became an advocate for the American Brain Tumor Association. And so I do a lot of work with dealing with brain tumor and brain cancer patients. And then it also led me into becoming a foster parent. And then I got really involved as a volunteer in the foster care community for Austin Angels. And so I use my pageant title to also help promote these other organizations that I'm very passionate about. And it helps with it helps me have a bigger voice and reach more people, and then bring awareness to maybe some communities that really need it and people didn't really think about. The foster care community is a great example. There's a lot of people out there that they want to get involved and help out, but you don't know all the different ways that you can. There's a lot of ways to be a volunteer and to help that aren't necessarily becoming a foster parent. And so I can help educate people. And so all of that is part of being a title holder. And then it's just fun. You end up meeting an amazing group of women. They're so accomplished and so genuine. So they become some of my best friends, and we are each other's biggest cheerleaders. If you're ever at a pageant, it's the other pageant contestants that are like rooting the loudest for you.
Oh, that's so good to hear. I'm going to I know I gave you a couple of questions that I want, but I'm going to segue into that, and we can be fluid for a minute, right?
Yeah, no problem.
One of the things I think, particularly as women, that we deal with, and you just nailed it on the head, is other people's opinions and almost like this stigma that I have to have everything right, everything has to be perfect, I have to juggle everything. And I'm thinking about all the things that you just talked about, and I can just absolutely imagine you with this beautiful tiara, which I have seen, right? And the grace that you carry as you are truly balancing all these things. But I know life couldn't have always been that way, right? We couldn't
Not at all.
And Unbreakable, to me, when I came up with this theme, and really it was a vision that I had, was there are things, people's opinions, things that attach themselves to us that we carry.
Mhm.
But at some point, we come to a place where we're like, enough is enough. I can't carry those things and gracefully do what I'm called to do. So, did you ever have one of those moments, April, where you said, enough is enough?
Only every other week, but yeah, I've had a few very significant moments like that. And one of the first ones was about 5 years after I'd had like brain surgery to remove the tumor, and I'd gone through treatment for a long time. I was in and out of the hospital, and at the time, I had no faith in anything. I just didn't grow up around religion, and so I didn't have that providing any comfort. And I've been diagnosed with PTSD because of just physical and emotional pain associated with my diagnosis. And I didn't talk to people about it. I would not talk about what I went through, because what I learned as a kid is I was trying to tell people, that I needed help. I knew there was something going on with me, and I didn't get the help that I needed, and so I wouldn't talk about it. And at one point, I was working at a doctor's office, and a patient had come in that had been diagnosed with another kind of cancer. Was very distraught, and somebody else at the clinic was taking care of them. And she came and got me. She's like, "You need to go talk to him." And I was like, "No, I don't talk to people about my experience," because I had just gotten used to, like, I shut down. And finally it worked up to, she's like, "April, go in there and talk to that man and give him some hope." And I'm like, okay. It was so uncomfortable for me, but I went in there, and he had a terminal diagnosis. And I share just a little bit of my story and how bad it could be, but basically it's like, I'm still here, and no, I don't know what's going to happen. You just never do. And I walked out of that. I don't know how much hope I gave him, because it was still a really tough experience for him. But I was like, that was the first time I was like, oh, I think I could talk about this, and I might even help some other people if I talk about it. And it took up to working towards that. And then at some point through pageantry, actually, the American Brain Tumor Association reached out, and they're like, "We would really like you to be an advocate and work with brain cancer patients." And then that came into helping to facilitate an online support group. And so it all ballooned over 5 or 6 years. But it took me going through like this really uncomfortable period where I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. It hurt. It was really painful.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, I think I can actually find a purpose in all of that pain and actually help other people. Yeah. And that was a motivation enough. I just had to kind of get used to it.
Yeah. Wow. What a beautiful story. And I think, part of our life story is we all go through very unique situations, but at the same time, the situations that we've gone through, we're assigned to other people through it, right? Like we can help other people. But I think, we end up, and one of the things that I will share at Un-Breakable 2024 when I share my segment is I was like walking around with this shield up, and it was an invisible shield and nobody could see it. It was like 10,000 pounds, right? And it was a protection shield. And until I made a very conscious decision to put that shield down, I could like reach out and almost touch people, but they could never touch me. And therefore I was never able to make that impact. And I feel like that's what happened to you in that doctor's office, is somehow some way you got that boldness to let that shield down. And that was a shifting moment for you. And I love
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
exciting. Wow. And that was just the beginning, right? That was
It
just
was. I never anticipated, where life was going to take me through these series of events, especially how much of it came into my life through competing in a pageant, the first time I ever decided to do that. And, you end up meeting people and making these really genuine connections, and you start sharing your stories with other women. And I've talked with women that are going through infertility issues, and that is like a result that I have from the type of brain tumor that I have. And so you just meet people and you get really deep pretty quick because you're spending a lot of time together, over pageant week. And then everybody's involved in kind of volunteering in different organizations. So then we all want to help each other and get involved in their organizations. And it's just amazing the impact that it has. What I thought of the first time where I'm like, I think I had friends convince me to sign up for pageant. I'm like, sure. I didn't really realize the trajectory that was going to take me on.
right. Wow. And I think of so many of, it's these little things that we go through that become little shifting moments. One decision opened up a world of opportunity for you. But one thing I want to, also highlight that you just talked about was community. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
I have recently was at a networking organization that I run, and in this networking organization, we were having a pretty deep conversation. It was a small group that day, and in this conversation, three of my friends out of five at the table had recently encountered an experience where somebody that they loved committed suicide, and it was heartbreaking. And when we kind of looked at it, these people felt alone, like no
Yeah.
sense of community, no sense of giving back, no sense of, digging out that purpose that was within them. Just like you said, that purpose is like it's in you. It was in you at birth, right? But we have to dig through it sometimes and put the shield down and be part of a group that allows us to express that purpose. So as I think about Unbreakable 2024, not everybody will have a pageant like experience, right? Not everybody would have somebody convince them to do that. I mean, that's a pretty bold thing, like an amazing bold thing, right?
It felt like it.
And look at where you're at today. But everybody does have an opportunity to get involved with community. So when it
Mhm.
comes to Unbreakable 2024, one of the things that we will establish is a sense of community. And from that perspective, how would you encourage somebody to come?
I think this is an event for anybody that wants to make some genuine connections with people in our community. You're going to hear a variety of different stories. And I think that always helps us like establish these deeper, more meaningful relationships. And so I have invited my friends on social media and told some of my friends locally about it. And get your tickets. Everybody get your tickets.
Yes. Yes. Get your tickets, ladies. I know it's almost Christmas. I know that is like the top of mind thing for us, but pretty soon we're going to be at December 31st. And,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm thinking like I have already figured out my theme for 2024. I am a theme person, and my theme for 2024 is open door in 24. And so it starts now. Like, even though we have, Christmas ahead of us, we got to start thinking about how am I going to set myself up for an empowering 2024, whatever that looks like for you and for our attendees at the conference, right? Make the decision today. Get your ticket today. We want you to be part of that and solidify that. That way, I've got something on my calendar that's going to be empowering, that's going to lift me up, that's going to connect me with some people. Like, I'm so grateful that I connected with you, April. I mean, it's so fun, right? To have other women, use their experiences in life to make a difference. And I really think that that's what we can do with Unbreakable 2024. I do want to talk a little bit while we have just a few more minutes about some of the other speakers that we have. Of course, April's story is incredible. And as I was at this networking group with her, and we were in this small, intimate type setting at our networking group, and we all kind of shared some table talk discussions. And I've known April for, I don't know, 5 years. How long have you been in Boss
Yeah.
Babes?
I've been in the group for 5 years. You're right.
Yeah. But it was in that intimate setting, like that smaller group setting, that I actually felt like, oh, like we're connected. Like I can connect with you, not because I had a shared experience, but because I had an experience to share, just like you have an experience to share. And see, not all of my friends that I know are going to relate to my situation, my life trauma, the things that I've dealt with. But when we get enough women together that have unique stories, somebody is going to relate with everybody, right? There is going to not be one person in that room who walks away and says, well, none of that applied to me. Like, because we are so vast variety on, what it is that we've all faced. And I think as we put our shields down and share that, and share what it took for us to become an unbreakable version of ourselves, we give other women the privilege and the encouragement to do the same thing for themselves, right? So April is going to be there sharing her message. I have a friend who is dealing with a child cancer situation. A good friend of mine, Alicia, had a child that just recently. You guys encourage her if you see her name. Her daughter just got her clean bill of health from a leukemia diagnosis. So as a mama, sometimes we think our journey and our story is the only thing, but when your baby walks through a journey, like that takes your breath away, right? I mean, that is hard stuff. And Alicia did some great things post that I think you're going to be super impressed with. I have a friend that has dealt with a business loss situation and which resulted in a divorce situation. Both of those incredibly difficult. That was Veronica. Some of you might have caught the live last week from her. I also have a friend whose child went through a tough bullying situation. And oh my gosh, I have a 15-year-old and a 22-year-old. Like bullying is for real. And it doesn't just stop when you get out of high school. My friend, Dr. Shamika Gibson, actually helps with workplace bullying because sometimes, bully kids turn out to bully adults, and she's wanting to change that in the world. So Dr. Shamika's got a great story. Our great friend, April, and my friend, Nick Austin, has an incredible story. Love Nick,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
She is a world changer in her own neck of the woods, and my great friend Sonia, she has an amazing story, and all of us do. And what I want to encourage you today is make a decision to be part of Unbreakable. Make a decision to reclaim your power. That is our theme for this conference: is become unbreakable and choose to take your power back, because there are all kinds of events and circumstances and things that happen in our life that if we let them, they'll strip some of that power away from us. But we get to choose to take our power back. And that's what's going to happen at Unbreakable 2024. So thank you all for watching. April, I am so honored to know you and to share.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
It's going to be incredible. And I can't wait to see all your pageant friends and our other Boss Babe friends that are going to be there. And really, this is for everyone. This isn't to a certain market. This isn't to a business world, to a religious world. This is a world of women who want to become unbreakable. So I hope you grab your tickets and join us at Unbreakable 2024. Thank you, April. We will talk soon. And we will see everyone there at Unbreakable 2024. God bless you all. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.